Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge Chäos. Ich vermute auch, dass das die letzte Folge sein wird, weil wir uns ja gerade im finalen Kampf befinden. I hear Dream's final scream. Then the sound of someone toppling over. I imagine that Dream had just been shot and killed. I didn't feel a single pang of emotion. Something else took priority. I returned to working on breathing. And then I felt shock at how I'd done that. What was the meaning in any of this? Why did I struggle so hard to keep on breathing? Wasn't it just too much? Something hot streamed down my cheeks. I was probably crying, but there wasn't any way to be sure of that. I tried my best to endure everything that I had dealt with so far, but so close to the 3-day limit, the meaning of doing so had been entirely lost. I'm sorry, Remy. I should be the one to apologize. I couldn't protect you. There wasn't any point in living anymore. I let my body go limp. The weight of that caused my body to sink even deeper. I felt a foreign object working its way up to my throat. Breathing became impossible. Something was driving itself up through me. Das ist sehr lecker. I came back to my senses. The feeling of a foreign object in my throat disappeared. I wasn't impaled anymore. The only blood on me was from my left arm and chest. When did reality end and the delusion begin? My brain couldn't begin to process it fast enough. I didn't understand a thing about the situation. In front of me was no Sid. D-Sod raced.
帰ってきましたか。あなたが体験した3日間は現実では1秒しか経っていませんが。
やっぱり妄想。
After muttering that to myself in relief, Notice's D-Sod flashed as fast as lightning. My body's top and bottom halves began to fall out of alignment. My vision fell. It sank downward, even though my legs were still standing right there. Everything above my waist toppled to the floor. My torso had been cleaved clean off. The cross-section was all too beautiful to behold. I inexplicably fixed my gaze on my lower half. It was a reality I didn't want to accept, or was it just another delusion? If it was, that would have been nice. Please be a delusion. Remy was calling me. In a voice that seemed so sad, she was calling me.
その状態でも死ぬまで数分は持つはずです。元医師である私が言うのだから確かですよ。その間にコードサンプルを取ることにしましょうか。
I crawled, dragging my body away with my right hand alone. I headed straight for Remy's voice. I want to feel you there, Remy. I have to save you, Remy. I dragged myself forward with my right hand, then again. I reached out, but I had no idea where Remy was. I didn't reach her. I didn't reach anything at all.
しぶとい男だ。
Crunch. I felt my bones grind to dust. Nurse's dress shoe trampled my outstretched right hand.
さすが化け物と言うべきですか。
そのノロセの足が蜃気楼のように揺れた。床のタイルの模様がぼんやりとし始めて、天地が回転する。床と天井が逆になる。僕は天井に這いつくばっている。両断された腰からものすごい勢いで血が噴き出す。全開にした蛇口のように血が体から抜けていく。そのまま腕の傷口を通って内臓までが流れ出る。意識がスーッと遠くなる。でも完全には途切れない。血だまりができて、僕はその深紅の海に身を横たえている。ドクンドクンと 鼓動する心臓が僕の目の前に転がっていて、血だまりに波紋を作り、その波紋をぼんやり見ていたら、僕の形が崩れた。人としての形を維持できない。僕と世界との境界が消失する。肉が溶け、骨がゴムのように曲がり、眼球は四角になり、口から裏返った灰がこぼれ出し、神経は数万キロメートルも引っ張られ、脳はシワの一つ一つを丁寧に伸ばされ、体はブヨブヨになる。空気に溶けていく。右手が糸のように伸びてプラネタリウムを出ていく。それは飴細工のように渋谷の空をさまよってコーネリアスタワーにくるくる巻きつく。何度も何度も何度も。分かれた足が膨れてる。ブクブクと水風船みたい。パンパンに皮膚が伸びてギチギチ音を立ててる。液状化。肉も骨もとろけてふくらはぎに溜まってる。腰からニョキって小さな頭が生えて、ぎょろりとした白い目が僕を見たよ。そしたら僕の頭がぐしゃって潰された。どっちの頭かはよくわかんない。潰れてトロトロになって、ビルの床、コンクリートの分子の隙間を抜けて落ちていく。地上へビューって。地面に作るどろりとした脳みその水たまり。もぞもぞもごもご、ジュルジュル、ドロドロ、プルプル、ビヨンビヨン、ビチャビチャ、ぐじゅぐじゅ、ぐちゃりぐちゃり。僕は二つになる。二つが四つになる。四つが八つになる。八つが四つに。二つが八つに。四つが四つ。どんどん増えて、どんどん減る。僕がいっぱい。僕がいない。僕は何？僕って何？何って僕？何？何区がなぼに、なぼ、ぼに、なく、ぼ、な。
君は妄想なんかじゃないよ。
れだ。
見てごらん。
西条七海が祈る。兄と共に収容された病院。怪我人があふれた待合室の片隅にうずくまり。
Sie hat ihre Hand wieder. Oder irre ich mich da gerade? Das sieht so aus, als ob sie da wieder ihre Hand hätte.
実の兄のしわくちゃの手を握りしめて、右手の痛みに耐えて、目を閉じて
Okay, vielleicht doch nicht.
祈る。もう一人の兄の無事を。
Oh.
楠木優愛が祈る。倒壊したビルの瓦礫。そこに埋もれるように横たわるコンテナの中で、彼の美少女フィギュアの一つを握りしめて、
Oh.
地震と火事で醜く変形してしまったフィギュアたちの姿に感じた胸の痛みに耐え、目を閉じて祈る。彼女を許してくれた少年の無事を。
Oh.
岸本綾瀬が祈る。避難所となっている水明学園。その校舎の屋上で空を見上げて、神話が書かれた文庫本を握りしめて、崩壊した渋谷を覆う不特定多数の妄想が見せる悪意の痛みに耐え、目を閉じて祈る。彼女の歌を、彼女の話を聞いてくれた少年の無事を。折原梢が祈る。新鮮駅の薄暗いホーム。青井瀬名の震える手を握りしめて、足の傷の痛みに耐えて、目を閉じて祈る。心の声で語り合ったクラスメートの少年の無事を。青井瀬名が祈る。横たわる父の傍らに座り、父の冷たくなった手を握りしめて、最後まで素直になれなかった後悔の痛みに耐えて、目を閉じて祈る。彼女のお願いに不器用ながら答えようとしてくれた少年の無事を。咲畑りみが祈る。冷たい床に横たわりながら彼へ伸ばした自らの手をきつく握りしめて、傷だらけの彼の姿を見て感じた。締め付けられるような胸の痛みに耐えて、目を閉じて祈る。自分が守ろうとした、自分を助けに来てくれた少年の無事を。
僕は何もできなかった。君が行動したんだ。その結果としてみんなが君のことを見てきた。君という周囲共通認識はとっくに出来上がっているんだ。これからは、いや、もうすでに君こそが。
僕は、君は誰？僕は
西条匠。
その声が聞こえた瞬間に、意識が僕を固定した。ぐちゃぐちゃにかき回されていた世界が一気に収束する。混沌が僕の理想度を形作って収束する。僕は僕としての形に戻る。世界は世界としての形に戻る。僕は僕だ。
Ich glaube, wir sind jetzt sehr kurz vom Ende. Das klingt so wie ein Ending-Track. Beziehungsweise wie ein Final-Track. All my wounds had healed. My top and bottom halves were connected. I was standing on my own 2 feet. The pain was entirely gone. Serenity filled my heart.
妄想によく打ち勝ったね。僕の最後の力を君に託すよ。
I noticed Mimi at the edge of my vision. She was okay, she was looking at me. Tears were falling down her face. Don't cry. Summoning my strength, I grasped the D-sword's hilt. I ascertained its feelings. My arm worked better than ever. I had completely regenerated.
これは実に興味深いです。
Alter, das Ganze macht mich gerade irgendwie emotional.
こバケモン
I focused my eyes on Norase.
確かに僕は化け物だよ。
But
でもこれが
so I can rescue Remy, so I can destroy Noah too.
僕が望んだ妄想だ。
Norris's response was swift. He had yet to harvest the code sample of Nishijo Takumi. The delusion was supposed to have cornered the boy and shattered his psyche, but now the tables had turned, and that he could not allow. Norris closed the gap between himself and Takumi, taking a specific angle. He swung his D-sword from below. With a D-sword that could cleave any known object, he diagonally carved through Takumi's chest. The target's durability made no difference. Killing a person with it was as simple as slicing through a block of gelatin. Ich möchte kurz mal anmerken, Norris hat ja erklärt, er ist der Einzige, der sich Noah 2 nähern kann. With one quick swipe from Norris, Takumi's body was split into pieces. His head, right arm and right shoulder had all slid cleanly off his body. Internal organs littered the floor, but not a single drop of blood fell with them. The lower half of Takumi's body began to give way. He braced himself and managed to plant his feet. In the following moments, the cross-section of his front began to undulate and squirm. And bubbling noise ensued, and then he regenerated, even though his body had been cleaved apart a mere second ago. Already a new head, right arm and shoulder had been born. His old head internal organs remained where they had slid free from him.
通覚は遮断した。
With a single step, Takumi approached Norase. Norase clicked his tongue, then turned over his D-sword.
肉体の形を捨てたがゆえにいかなる形をも取れるということですか。
あんたの見せてくれた妄想のおかげだよ。
He was unable to retain his shape as a human being. He had taken in the delusion and made it his own. This was not regeneration but replacement. Missing parts replenished. Flesh and bones were produced once again, all propagating infinitely from the dust within his body. The shape was not fixed. Like an amoeba, like a collection of slime, he could change himself freely. That was the reason Takumi called himself a monster. Takumi took another step toward Norase. Norase's frustration increased, gripping the hilt. He thrust his D-sword at the approaching Takumi. Takumi's head found itself between a colossal pair of scissors.
脳を失えば妄想はできないでしょ
う。Takumi's head was crushed. It split like a watermelon. Blood and grey matter burst forth. Everything above the neck was gone, and yet Takumi's body remained. Regeneration replacement was instantaneous. As soon as his heel hit the ground, as if nothing had happened, as if he had been entirely replaced. His head returned right to where it had been without a single scratch. Norris awakened to an understanding. He could not win this fight. Physical attacks with his D-sword were useless. The delusional attack denying the boy's reason for existence had been taken in and used for an alternate purpose. The current Nishijo Takumi was all too removed from human normalcy, all too distorted of an existence, all too fitting as a monster. And yet, despite it all, Norris had no intention of conceding. His next thought was to utilize Noah's 2 powers to bombard Takumi with innumerable antiparticles. Bombardment with antiparticles could transform any known existence into negative matter, ending ultimately in self-collapse. If disruption from the surface was not variable, then collapse must be undertaken from within.
そうなんだね。
Noah's thoughts had been read by Takumi. The shine of Takumi's desert transformed from red to black. A black flame enveloped the blade. It wriggled forth, extending outward. Its shape resembled that of a dark colossal serpent.
そして現れるの。
It roamed throughout the dome as it constrained by it. Towards the ceiling, towards the floor, as though it was licking them up, as thought it was scraping them away. It simply consumed.
雑誌の口説き会社。あらゆる崩壊を飲み込み、雑誌の身を砕くことのできる。糖質にして異質なるもの。
The body of the Colossal Serpent was composed of antiparticles. With a mere touch, it could send any known object into self-collapse. A torrent of destruction composed of near-infinite greed.
触手芸はあんまり好みじゃないけど。
There and then Takumi's sword swung, its pointed tip fixed on Norose. Ooh. The dark serpent, winding itself in a coil, curved its body like a whip. Its jaw snapped at Norose. Not once had Norose ever seen such a phenomenon from a D-sword. He could not discern whether it was the hidden power of a gigolomaniacs or merely Takumi's delusion. The dark fangs eroded Nora's body and he began to collapse. Out too slowly, like a frog slowly dissolving in the belly of a snake. Darkness swallowed him. He felt no pain. By nature, his death should have been instant. But that was not what Takumi wished for. Relaying this, Norse's lips twisted in a derisive smile. Norse had no fear of death. One could say that the ideals he pursued had been accomplished with the completion of Noah 2.
私を殺してもノア2には誰も近づけない永久期間なんですよ。それは人類を未来永劫にわたって管理し続ける。ただ座して眺めているだけではない、人の幸福のために干渉してくる人工の神なのです。
Noah was God's inventor, so to speak. As long as Noah 2 continued to exist, mankind would not perish, and the eternal utopia Noah thought would become real. However,
あんたなら近づけるんでしょ。
the serpent's body wriggled and writhed with Noah in its grasp, lifting his body into the
そ
air.
れならあんたは鍵だ。
Noah was astonished, but soon enough his face changed into an expression of pure agony. The serpent swung about his body with ease. Takumi shot a glance at Rimi, their eyes met. That's what was Rimi feeling as she watched him. Reading her mind would have been effortless, and yet Takumi did nothing of the sort. It seems I was able to save you after all. He quickly averted his eyes. His gaze then shifted to the still humming Noah 2, the throne of God, where none could stand food. A credible showed naught but dreams of bliss.
ごめん。
He apologized to no one in particular.
僕は人類にとっての敵かもね。
The eternal utopia this device would have brought. A future without conflict. Takumi would extinguish them with his own two hands. Was that right or was it wrong? Takumi could not give the answer to that.
でも神話でもよくあるでしょ。神だって女絡みでうだうだやってる。だから僕も。
Will sacrifice the happiness of mankind out of love for a girl. Takumi, D-sword in hand, bent his arms in a giant arc.
突き破れ！
He thrusted it forth, just like a javelin. The colossal serpent of darkness charged straight ahead. With the bait known as Noise impaled by its tip, it flew straight toward Noah 2. An enormous serpent of antiparticles capable of terminating any known object. It had no will of its own, thus it was not something that could have been robbed nor assaulted. With the greedy impulse to destroy and using North as the key, the delusional barrier was easily smashed to pieces. When had the rain begun to fall? There had just been a huge explosion, and its blast blew my body away like it was nothing more than a ragdoll. Next thing I knew, I found myself lying here. Those eyes were always watching me. The stare pierced through the thick pitch-black rain clouds and poured down on me like rain. Don't look at me. My body couldn't stop shivering, not from the chill of the rain, but rather the ice cold rubble against my back. So terribly cold. A gaze pierced me from the heavens. Who it belonged to, I couldn't say. As if to escape it, I raised my head to look at the environment around me. There I saw a ruined city. There I saw despair. There I saw death. There I saw nothingness. Not a soul was there. Not a soul was moving. Not a soul was left alive. The only thing I could hear was the sound of the rain continuing to pour. At this rate, everything, both the living and the dead, would it all be gently embraced and washed away? How nice it would be if all of this was just a delusion, but that didn't seem to be the case. I couldn't move my body. I could only move my eyes and neck, and even then, just barely. I couldn't use that monstrous power from before. My body was shivering, but that was nothing more than a physiological phenomenon. It wasn't happening by my own will. I didn't want my body to tremble. If I couldn't move it freely, then it wasn't my body. Or maybe I've never had free will ever since I was born. Nobody knows exactly where the soul resides. Bearing that in mind, how could anyone say that there was a soul inside this body of mine? But then, where exactly was I now? Was I really here? Was I anywhere at all? In this shattered world where all stood still, where all that could be heard was the rain of death. Suddenly another sound echoed through it. A solitary existence began to emerge from the sea of nothingness. Who are you? Is your skin so pale because it had been numbed by the chill of the rain? Or is it because you were already dead? And yet the girl wasn't shivering, and those eyes of hers nearly hidden by her bangs. Don't look at me. They looked so terribly sad. They looked as if they had a hint of madness. They looked as if they reflected nothingness. If she and I were the only ones left in the world. If we stared into each other's eyes like this for all eternity, would my world be reduced to the reflection in her eyes? Would her world be reduced to the reflection in my eyes? The only thing reflected in her eyes was me. The only thing reflected in my eyes was her. When I thought of it that way, the world immediately seemed so much smaller. Suddenly a flash of static reached my ears, one endlessly beautiful yet deeply discordant. She lowered her head and spread her arms wide, almost as if preparing to take off to soar high above the rain clouds, or as if trying to catch all of the falling rain.
あなたを見つめる妄想
From where I was on the ground, I couldn't see the expression on that lowered head. Behind this thin veil of rain, just what kind of face are you making? An angel? Were those dancing feathers of light blessing me, or... I see, I finally understand. She's going to use that to kill me. The girl slowly kneeled to the ground before my collapsed body, with her head still lowered. She gently took my own in her hands. I surrendered my body to her grasp. I was just relieved that she wasn't looking at me.
殺さなくちゃいけないの。
In my ear, I heard a whisper, garbled by static. It was as beautiful as it was discordant.
ごめん。ごめんね。
There's nothing to apologize for. If I don't disappear, the other me, the real me, will die. So that's why I'm okay with this. In fact, I'm really glad I get to be raised by you. It's not a bad end for a monster like me. A warm, soft, gentle, sweet sensation. And miraculous, as if it were an anesthetic, the shivering in my body slowly began to die down. Her soft breath tickled my cheeks. It smelled so sweet. Suddenly, I sensed something pressing against my chest. The large sword she had tore through my skin, bored into my flesh, weaved through my bones, and slowly sank through the center of my body. But gifted with the anesthesia of a kiss, I no longer felt any pain. I would never have imagined that I would get such a kind death. Just the thought of it broke my heart, leaving me on the verge of tears. Trying to hide them, I looked past the girl's head up towards the ashen sky, where the rain continued to pour. Das war Chäos Head Noah. Beziehungsweise das erste Ende von Chäos Head Noah. Wenn ich mich nicht täusche, hat Chäos Head einiges an Enden, die sich mit jedem Durchspielen ändern, wenn ich mich gar nicht irre, oder zumindest Kleinigkeiten ändern sich da dann. Aber ich weiß nicht, ob man andere Entscheidungen treffen kann, um das zu ändern. Ich glaube tatsächlich, dass sich das so ändert. Auf jeden Fall finde ich Chäos Head ein sehr, sehr geniales Werk, muss ich sagen. Oh, Find the Blue, ja. Also ich muss sagen, der Soundtrack ist so genial in dem Spiel. Und ja, ich habe es tatsächlich jetzt in dieser Folge durchbekommen. Mit ein klein bisschen drüber, aber auch nicht so viel länger als die Folge eigentlich normal dauern würde. Okay, Nintendo Switch Version haben wir nicht. bin gerade am Überlegen. Also, eigentlich würde ich schon ganz gerne, denke ich... Committee of Zero. Das Committee of Zero müsste, wenn ich mich gerade nicht irre, die Modder sein. Die haben sich da wahrscheinlich mit eingebastelt in die Ending Credits für die, zumindest für, wenn man halt mit der Version spielt, mit dem dementsprechenden Patch. Also ich bin jetzt am Überlegen, ob ich als nächstes Vampire Survivor oder Age of Empires machen werde. Ich glaube, Vampire Survivors werde ich machen. Ich muss auch schon, dass ich noch ein paar, ich glaube noch so 3 Folgen oder so brauche ich ungefähr für meine Vorproduktion. Damit habe ich das Silent Sky Ende erreicht. Extra CG Library is now available. Sound Library available. Movie Library available. Shortcut has been unlocked. Das ist auch sehr gut. Ja, und dann war es das hier an diesem Punkt jetzt mit Chaos Head Noir. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Ich finde, wie gesagt, dieses Werk einfach nur genial und ich persönlich finde es auch tatsächlich das beste Werk noch von denen aus der ganzen Reihe. Aber das ist eine persönliche Meinung. Viele finden ja Steins Gate am besten. Eigener Geschmack. Aber na gut. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.